Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys fans declared Joe Milton our guy after insane NFL record pass. NFL training camp and preseason is generally a time when fans and the media make a big deal out of nothing, where plays that takes place in practice, good ones or bad ones, are treated as they has some great significance that could determine how a whole season plays out. Most often, they end up meaning very little. But sometimes plays take place in practice that simply cannot be ignored. That's what happened in the Dallas Cowboys joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams on Tuesday. And this one play has Cowboys fans so excited that some are even predicting that it will lead to a change in the team's starting quarterback. Perhaps it will not become as a surprise to find out that the spectacular play involved the Cowboys' hyper-athletic backup quarterback Joe Milton III. The Cowboys acquired the 25-year-old Milton in an April 3 trade with the New England Patriots, along with a 7th-round draft pick, sending back nothing more than a 5th-round pick in return. For the Patriots, the trade had to be considered a win, at least on paper, because they drafted Milton last year in the 6th round, 193rd overall. That was the same draft in which New England owned the number 3 overall pick and used it on their quarterback of the future, Drake May. But after Milton's play in Tuesday's joint practice went viral, even some Patriots fans were wondering if their team let Milton go too quickly, and for a price that was much too low, at least as evidenced by calls to local sports talk radio. The play that caused all of the buzz, and that went viral in a video posted by Dallas KDFW-TV sports anchor Jeff Kolb, was Milton's touchdown pass against the Rams defense to wide receiver Jalen Brooks, a Cowboys 7th-round draft pick out of South Carolina in 2023. Milton's pass flew 75 yards in the air, landing straight into the arms of the waiting Brooks. Of course, the pass will not be recorded as an official NFL stat. If it had, it would have been a record, at least for the next-gen stats era, which dates back to 2016. The longest pass in the air ever recorded by next-gen stats in an NFL game was thrown by Baker Mayfield, then quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, against the Baltimore Ravens in 2020. That toss traveled 70.5 yards, but landed incomplete. No NFL quarterback, at least since the statistic has been measured, has ever thrown a pass of 75 yards in the air, complete or incomplete, in an official game. But Brooks caught Milton's pass in the end zone for touchdown. Cowboys fan reaction online was enthusiastic to say the least, with one fan declaring, "Is it just me or this our guy?" Given that Cowboys starter Dak Prescott is the highest-paid player in NFL history, on a 4-year, $240 million contract, Milton will probably not become the Cowboys' guy. As long as Prescott stays healthy, the idea that Milton will replace him anytime soon seems far-fetched. But the former Tennessee Volunteer is competing with fellow backup Will Grier for the number 2 job behind Prescott. The Cowboys gave a hint where that competition stands when they announced this week that Milton will be ahead of Grier on the depth chart for Sunday's preseason opener against the Rams. Cowboys training camp, Parsons absent, Ferguson and Blue leave with injuries. The best word to characterize Thursday's training camp practice for the Dallas Cowboys is simply weird. Aside from one of the lower attendance numbers of the camp's 12 practices so far, defensive end Micah Parsons did not step out onto the field for the first time. In the previous 11 sessions, he watched from the sideline with his jersey on and interacted with teammates. On the field, there were injuries aplenty. It began with starting right tackle Terrence Steele getting poked in the eye early in the team period and needing assistance. He would later return. A few plays later, rookie running back Jaden Blue, who has emerged as a threat to land a feature role on the offense, was spun to the ground awkwardly on a face mask grab from defensive end Sam Williams. He lay on the field for a few moments before being carted to the injury tent and later escorted to the locker room with what appeared to be a lower leg injury. After practice, Blue told the Star-Telegram that he suffered an ankle injury and that he is fine, but his availability for Saturday's preseason game against the Los Angeles Rams remains in question. Starting tight end Jake Ferguson, who was just awarded with a contract extension earlier in training camp, took a shot to his lower back from linebacker Kenneth Murray during a red zone period and was in immediate pain. After remaining on the ground for a few moments, he was taken off the field to be evaluated by the training staff. His status remains unclear. The injuries on Thursday add to a long list of players who have missed time at training camp with varying ailments. Through 12 practices, 22 players have suffered injuries that have kept them out of part or all of a practice. ESPN analyst proposes blockbuster Micah Parsons Bills trade. Star pass rusher Micah Parsons has made it clear he wants out of Dallas. The 26-year-old defensive end publicly requested to be traded from the Cowboys last week after it was reported that contract negotiations between himself and the team had actually regressed since the end of the season. "Yes, I wanted to be here," Parsons wrote on X. "I did everything I could to show that I wanted to be a Cowboy and wear the star on my helmet. Unfortunately, I no longer want to be here. I no longer want to be held to close-door negotiations without my agent present." While there doesn't appear to be a peaceable solution in sight for Parsons and the Cowboys, the former Penn State alum's name has been linked to a dozen or more teams via trade in the last week. If Cowboys owner Jerry Jones were to even consider moving Parsons, it would likely take a king's ransom to acquire the four-time Pro Bowler, and ESPN analyst and former New York Jets general manager Mike Tannenbaum believes there's one team that could actually pull such a deal off. "First of all, this will never happen, so let me just say that," Tannenbaum recently stated on ESPN's Get Up. "I just don't think he's hardwired to trade a star in the prime of his career. But with Buffalo, I was thinking 3 number 1 picks, James Cook, and maybe Ed Oliver. Does that get Buffalo to the Super Bowl? I'm not saying I would do that if I was Buffalo, I'm just saying those are the things it would require. Here's what I would do, to take you behind the curtain. If I was the Cowboys, I would say, give me your highest and best offer from every team by close of business today and I'll let you know tomorrow, and see what they would do." Cook, who's in the middle of his own holdout with the Bills, would fill a big area of need for Dallas, which lost 1,000-yard rusher Rico Dowdle to the Carolina Panthers in free agency. While the Cowboys' running back depth chart features some decent players, Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn, and rookie Jaden Blue, there is no clear-cut number 1 back.